Hey, it's me, Rykor. Today we're going to have a look at the peaks of time, the Unrelenting Blaze. We're going to simulate this on a starter account in order to get the early account feel. From here, from this event, we will be able to get a new hero called Raine. So, as soon as we have entered, the objective of this peaks of time, we have to cleanse 4 obelisks to get their powers in order to be able to unlock the final boss and to clear this peaks of time. So, the first thing that you do once you've entered a new event, just check out which enemies are the weakest and start working through them in order to boost your team and upgrading your team. So as you can see here, my team and the enemy team is of relatively similar power, but as soon as I get my first relic, this will be a massive boost to my heroes. So similarly, you can see that I'm using 3 elite heroes and 2 legendary heroes. And this is to get a feel of how it is on a starter account. So I'm currently exploring the map. There's one obelisk, as you can see. And now I'm currently going to fight another weak team. So as you can see, the energy is saved from the previous round. So as soon as you walk into battle, you can ult immediately. Essentially, you can save the energy from the previous battle and use it in the next battle, essentially weakening the enemies much faster. As you can see here, I'm using one healer, being Lucius. He provides shields which block damage, and he's able to heal my allies. As you can see, there's another obelisk there that needs to be cleansed. I'm using also Scrake. He's a great tank. He's able to push enemies back and is immune to enemy control effects. Tassie is able to banish and put enemies to sleep. The banish is able to completely remove an enemy hero from the battlefield, allowing my heroes to focus on the remaining 4. And then once that banish comes off, usually that hero that is banished is the only one that's remaining. There we go, one obelisk is cleansed. Now here you can choose a hero. Make sure to choose a hero that benefits your team. So if you're missing a healer, get a healer. If you're missing a damage dealer, get a damage. And so on. So there I'm looking at the heroes and seeing who I can attack next. There we go. I found my next enemy. And as you can see, the power of my heroes is slowly going up. Now Tassie's sleep basically puts the whole enemy team to sleep, and they can't use any of their abilities. But the hero that is banished, instead of being banished, they go to sleep. So it basically overrides the previous control effect. Now this only works for Tassie, so if another hero stuns them or does another ability on them, it'll work perfectly fine. There we go, I've gotten the second obelisk. As you can see in the top corner there, I can heal my allies to full if any of them are on low health. So you see the blue shield around my team, that is from one of the relics that was given, that I got from the obelisks. As you can see here, my team is staying nice and full. And there we go, I turned off auto just to save energy for the next round. So always try and go for damage being your number 1 priority. The second thing, reducing damage. So this can be anything in the form of shields, healing, or control effects. And then the next thing, try and get more control effects that can be applied to enemy heroes. So something like if the enemy's stunned, then they take more damage, or if they're put to sleep, they take more damage, and so on. Also, things that give your heroes more haste or more energy are definitely major plus to your allies. So as you can see here, there's the third obelisk. So I need to, there we go, I got the third obelisk. Now I'm going to try and clear these enemies. So if, for example, you are struggling with enemy camp, pause, exit, and restart the match again. This will allow you to see what's happening with your team, how can you improve your team, and whether you can maybe attack another enemy, buff your heroes, and then attack the enemies, making them much more easier to deal with. As you can see here, some of my allies lost a bit of health, but as soon as my healer, Lucius, used his ability, then he was able to heal my allies to full. And just keep on retrying until the stage works in your favor. Sometimes you just need to do a couple of retries until you get the perfect result for your team. As you can see here, some of my allies are on 1 health and it's looking quite close. There I lost a hero, exit the battle, and I'm going to try a different team, see whether I can get a couple more relics in order to deal with those enemies. Also, as you can see here, I'm going to try and switch around some of my heroes, see how it's going to pan out. As you can see here, Iran pulled in three heroes, the back, middle, and the 2 frontline allies, and he wasn't able to pull in Screg. But as you can see here, I was easily able to deal with these enemies, and we got the win. There we go, I got another relic. And always try and go for more damage. That's probably the best relic. Any relic that says more damage is the best way forward. There we go, that's the 4th and final relic obelisk that I need to clear in order to be able to unlock the final boss. So as you can see, there's a lot of control in my team. I'm constantly banishing, portaling, stunning, putting enemies to sleep, while my allies can easily heal themselves and do damage to the enemies. Also, when a relic appears that benefits only one hero, try and look for relics that benefit your entire team. So if most of your team is made up of mages, then choose the relic that is specifically for mages, or rangers, or warriors, or tanks, or supports. This will synergize extremely well with your team and will make them able to deal with enemies much more easily than they were previously able to deal with. As you can see here, the enemies are not even able to cast any of their abilities because of my control that my team provides. See both of the relics on the sides, one gives defense and one gives healing. Try and go for defense, whichever one you are struggling the most with. So there we go. Now I'm going to attack this team and hopefully I can pass it. There we go. And one thing that you can always do, you can power level your heroes, and as soon as they are power leveled, you can come back a later time and easily deal with these enemies with no hassle. Then you don't even have to worry sometimes about the relics that you get. Also, another tip that you can do to benefit your team is that you can retry the Peaks of Time multiple times and get different relics. Now, because each relic is random, you can sometimes get a very powerful couple relics at the beginning, which will easily allow you to steamroll through the entire Peaks of Time or whichever Wandering Balloon event comes up. As we can see here, these enemies are currently much more easier compared to how they were previously, and I'm easily able to progress through this enemy team. There we go. All right, so I've already gotten the 3rd blessing. Now I'm going to get the fourth and final obelisk. I'm just exploring, seeing if there's any more relics that I can possibly get to benefit my team even more and make the final boss even easier. Because as you can see, when I walked into this Peaks of Time, me and the enemies were on similar power levels. You see, the details tell me that I need to clear this little boss stage. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm relatively similar power to the enemies, but I have a lot more control than the enemies, and I have a lot more damage compared to the enemies as well. So this should be relatively easy for me. As you can see here, Lucius is easily able to heal through the enemy's damage and provide a lot of support for my team. There we go, I turned off auto so I can save it for the next battle. You see, after the enemies, I need to attack them again in order to get the buff from that specific obelisk. Even though the enemies are legendary, I have more relics and I have full ultimates as soon as I get into the battle. This makes the challenge much more easier to complete. There we go, as you can see, the enemies are easily being dealt with, and another win. You see, I'm going to go for the cocoon, as this will provide a lot of control for me, essentially buying me 5 seconds at the beginning of the battle to build up my energy and allow me to use my ultimates as soon as possible. There we go, I got the fourth and final obelisk, and I get some cool gear for my heroes. As you can see, all 4 obelisks have been received, and now I can fight the final boss. You see, the enemies are cocooned, and I can immediately start controlling the enemies and using my abilities without the enemies being able to do anything to me for the first 5 seconds. This is an extremely powerful relic, and I would recommend, if you can, try and get it as soon as possible in any Wandering Balloon or Peaks of Time. There we go, I chose a legendary relic for my mages, being Muriel and Odin. This will significantly power them up and make them be able to deal with any enemy in this entire Peaks of Time. You see at the bottom, Sylvina, she has a teleport ability where she teleports onto the weakest mage, and because of that cocoon, she was not able to teleport, and she's being controlled by Odin and Scrag. In the top there, if one of your heroes have died, they can be resurrected using that resurrect fountain over there. There we go, pick up your rewards, and let's head over to the last chests. There we go, and the stage is complete. Excellent. And the final boss enemy, let's see how we are able to deal with them. As you can see there, Estrada is in the top, and she will not be able to push back user ability on Scrag, as he's immune to any control effects that the enemy is dealing to Scrag. There we go, and another win. Excellent. Now you can collect all your rewards and you're good to go. there's your new hero, Raine. And I'll see you in the next video.